What is leadership?
I have no idea. I have no idea of leadership. Comment. No idea of leadership. No real idea of anyone being led in a manner of speaking. See? Then we have to ask, what level is that from? Yeah. It's a level. Is there reality? Obviously. Well, who's leading it? Yeah. You know someone who's leading the reality?
Is a practitioner either led or a leader?
Both. Both. All people are both, in fact. A parent is both. Students are both. Children are both. You have to do what you have to do. No doubt. You can call it leadership. Someone would say, no, it's just the way it happens. No one's interested in being leader or being led. But we live accordingly. If you're talking about governments and armies, of course, then there's no question. You're talking about practice, then maybe experience leads, maybe wisdom leads. Maybe it does. Who knows? Maybe depth leads. Maybe intensity leads some people. Maybe fear leads other people. Maybe humility leads other people.
So I'm reading from page 98 of Gentle Fire. This is the chapter, The Teaching Beyond Words. These teaching forms are like wordless music used to communicate the incommunicable, transcendent truth of only isness, when the no means is the means to understanding and realizing transcendent, thus mindless truth of and as itself. And my question relative to that...
Did you understand it?
I hope not.
So you didn't understand it, you have a question. Is the question then in the hopes of clarifying it? Is that?
Well, the paragraph is complete in itself, but...
So it's clear enough, you're saying?
Yeah.
Good.
But it does bring up a question relative to thought and relative to mind.
It brings up the question, or you bring up the question?
I had a response to this paragraph, which was this question.
Okay.
As well as a certain resonance and illumination. And the question to do with mind is, when is the mind in the way and when is it not? And there are a couple more very similar questions, different words for the same.
Do you know when your mind is in your way? Is your mind in your way now?
If I think about it, it is.
Here's your answer. So you have thought, space. You have space. Not even open, I wouldn't even say openness, but hearing clearness. And then you have a thought. So you have a thought and you have no thought. All of the world religions offer some recommendation to calm the mind, clear the mind. as a basic practice. In some cases it's a yoga practice, see, in terms of relaxing body, mind, spirit. Other cases it's just technique. See. Stated in a way that helps you to manage your mental phenomena, your debris, your cultural or karmic debris, in terms of thought patterns and programs, and kind of like see through them, let them go. You look at them and they disappear. And they can disappear because they're not real. They're only appearing. They're merely appearing until they're scrutinized a certain way. Under the scrutiny of the intelligence, they disappear. Especially if the mode of, let's say, behavior is connected to the release of neuroses, which from a certain level doesn't exist, going back to the unconscious or the superconscious, already discussed over and over again. And if we're talking about transcending that, which is something which is completely natural and normal, because we are thought and we are between thought. The between thought is no thought. It means thought non-existing. Waiting for a thought. Making room for some more neuroses to come in. Right? So we are the no thought. We are already no thought. So non-thought, and thus we say the naturalness of transcension, right? Transcending is built into us. At night you go to sleep, you transcend the world, you transcend neurosis, you transcend everything until your karma seems to be filtering into some level or other of your intellectual machinery relative to the dream world, the astral plane, the causal plane, or whatever other plane you're susceptible to or sensitive to. The spirit plane. But basically there's no thought. We are not that. We have to generate that. You have to go to school to generate thought, to learn how to become a neurotic machine. That's what school is. Educated. Right? Overloaded. Sick. Diseased. Opinionated. And so on. So basic nature is no thought. Tree to grass, earth to moon, moon to sun. Present. Already. So when then we see the power of the basic practice, the fundamental practice of just sitting. But not just sitting, like sitting down, in your state of boredom, let's say. Sitting down is like boring for some people because you're doing nothing. Yeah, doing nothing exactly what it is. See, to be able to do nothing, everything gets done. But what kind of nothing is it? Where everything gets done.
The process of sacrificing self, thought, mind programs into the fire. We've talked about them as being wood for the fire.
Always.
Who sacrifices anything into the fire?
No one. You can appear to do it, like you can appear to be breathing. But you're not really breathing. You can appear to be here too, but you're not really here. You ever get the sense like you're not really here? Because you're not? You're nowhere. And so it's important to bring up these radical views from the inner or the deeper consciousness. There's no no thought. The space consciousness. The sound consciousness. The sound, isn't it? Sinking. Constant. The aum of the universe, constant. It's not saying anything, except that you exist, and you're subject to forces. Right. And at the same time, it's saying you don't exist. You're not here. You're somewhere, but where? Right? Because you are the sound. Where does the sound begin or end? See? Where does the sound come from? What's it mean? What is the aum? What is it? Why? No sound, no silence. No silence, no sound. Rest in it. That's what the masters teach. They actually teach something. They direct you to it. Zero. Peace. Heal yourself. Don't destroy yourself before your self realizes what it is. Now, in terms of sacrifice, yes, you can sacrifice. You can be consciously part of this unconscious and superconscious process of life, which is sacrifice. Breathing, which is sacrifice. Wasting, which is sacrifice. Living, which is sacrifice. And dying, which is also sacrifice. There's only sacrifice then. That's the burn. Conscious self-release. Self-transcending release. It means the release of suffering and the embrace of happiness. Unqualified. Original happiness. Always happy. Already free. Trick phrase. Who is such? Good question.
Gentle Fire, page 99. The master of silence is silence realized, lived, transmitted, transcended, and transsilenced. Such a master reveals there is no realization by teachings and no realization without teachings, even when realization is the ultimate teacher, then no teacher. My reaction to that is more or less stunned. My mind doesn't seem to want to.
Then the language served a purpose. It wasn't just this for you. It was like, boom. Voila. Eureka. Silence has spoken and taken its toll on yourself. You have become haunted by or possessed by silence. Good practice. And as I have taught, this is not silence without sound, or silence as the absence of sound, but it is verily the sound of silence, the silence of sound. Good practice for musicians. many whom claim the right of authority over sound. Minus silence. The true source of sound.
So everything is silence already.
Already. If you can hear it. If you have been quiet enough, you can hear it's a roar. Not a theory or an opinion, it's just a reality. Once you're quiet enough, it's nothing but sound. Silence is the roar of the universe. See? It's the shout of the heart. It's huge, it's infinite. It's like, wow. Or yow. Whatever. Gone. So is at what level? Those who are noisy can't hear the silence. Those who are silent, hear. Those who are open to silence can be it. It's the basis of everything. All pervasive. Many would call it space. The space of silence, the silence of space. Who cares what it's called? It is what it is. It is awareness of itself. Aware of being aware. And much more. It's the total. It's the real. From which, or out of which, more is known, less is suffered. Don't believe. Know for yourself.
Relative to past, current, and future lives, what life is more important?
This one, obviously, the only one. Right. What other one would be more important than this one? Yeah? This is the one. For many, they say this is the sum of all the lives before. Yeah. Or in some rare cases, after this one. And in the case of those who are born, some would suspect or some believe, from a higher plane, then they come down to this plane. And they exhibit signs of the other plane. And they represent the other plane, the higher plane, let's say, or the next world. They're already in the next world. They're here in the next world. And for them, this is the next world. This is the afterlife. This is already gone beyond. Lives altogether. This is the heaven for such beings. Not physically, obviously. But really, and we can say in those cases, those ones may be leaders without wanting to lead or saying a word about anything.
So this is the last paragraph on page 99. Teachings validate what is known or to be known, both of which depend on what is already validated. The circle and circles of validation are infinitely united mechanisms of conception, perception, and understanding, all of which amount to knowledge or knowing that which true realization is not.
Amen. So be it.
And this paragraph again just seems to clear more space relative to the teachings, what realization is, what the teachings are, what the path might be for some people.
Right, the path as a teaching process. And that's why you're here. Because what has been played musically, what has been stated verbally, what has been written, right, actually, constitute altogether important aspects of your path. So, clarification and liberation. Illumination. You can use these words to express the inner release you feel. See? When you hear words that unravel the mystery for you as an individual on the path of understanding, see, and transcending suffering at the mental, emotional, and physical levels, to say the least.
Yeah, it's
And some books will say it, others won't say it in the same way. Some music can say it, other music can't say it in the same way. But there's enough to go around so that there's a good possibility people will find their path. They find the right way for themselves. Not all do. Not all can be satisfied that they have found the path for themselves. Yeah. Some would say they have no idea what the path is for themselves. They don't even know that they could be on a path. Because what they would say often is that their lives are so full of suffering and trauma and tragedy that that couldn't be the path, when in fact that is the path. That's the path of experience and transcending experience. The path of pain and transcending pain, knowing it all so well. And stepping beyond it and going deeper and deeper and deeper as a step on the path. Just as another step on the path. This life is just another step on the path. And the next one is just another step on the path. That's all.
On page 100 you write, "The fire is not a teaching to be established or practiced." And that seems like just another way of saying that this practice, or rather this fire is not you, in a sense. It's not the self. It's not something that particularly cares for the self. It is doing what it does.
Yeah, but it's more conscious than that. It's not doing what it does, like, it doesn't matter. It almost sounds nonchalant. No, it's very deliberate. It's conscious. It's very direct. Yeah. And in that way, it's very personal. Extremely personal. And because it's so personal, it's impersonal. Yeah. In other words, it says the realization doesn't tumble out of a laundry bag. Good. Hey, wait, what fell out of that bag over there? Oh, it's a wisdom teaching. Oh, I finally found them. No, not quite. So to enter, let's say, a stage of liberation requires, going back to your original point, tremendous sacrificing of suffering and neuroses. It's conscious. It's not like, oh, well, it'll go when it goes. No, this must go. You know it's disease, you know it's painful, it must go. It's not egoic. It's just unnecessary. It becomes garbage. It's egoic to cling to it. It's heroic to surrender it and clear the way so that what is pure in you is what you offer others. Light. Just light. Just light that. Just light that. The lighting up, see, of the inner awareness. Dwelling in a lighted house, so to speak. These are metaphors for the poetic and the philosophic. But the actual, in the case of the mystic, it's actual. It's like the bulb above your head. As a symbol of the real, above your head and around your body and pervading your body. See? It's that intense. It's so intense you can't use your eyes to look at it. Here you can look up. You can look up to the sun even in short measures. But this you can't see. There's nothing to see. It's the real beyond the light.
So last paragraph on page 101. This true teaching is no teaching, especially when and because it burns. This burn is the compassionate force of self-erasing peace and the self-liberating light of silence, which has no existence in word, has no existence as self, has no existence as thought, and has no existence as mind. Similarly, the word peace has no existence as a mind form, yet its presence is real and realizable as no peace. That silenceless silence beyond conception and non-conception. Hence, transcendent, non-knowable, or merely experiential peace is proposed or presented as reality. This transcendent teaching is presented as heartfire wisdom. This transcendent, soundless music is presented as heartfire sound.
My so-called teachings, if you see it that way, are the lyric to my music. As a vision of the universe, the silent universe. The heart wide open universe. A wide open heart universe. When you get to that level of vision, it is so for you. It may be all there is for someone. And there may be infinite visions beyond that. That have to do with the infinite potential of realization, reality. They teach that there are infinite Buddhas, infinite realms. Certainly there are infinite visions. Beyond vision. Beyond imagination. Beyond knowing. Above and below, and all around, in this or in any universe. Here, there, nowhere.
So on a more practical note, how does one minimize one's own bullshit without jeopardizing what needs to be done?
Well, you practice. So, go deep into practice, whatever that is for you. Every tradition has its practices. It's practices which establish some level of sanity for the students, the seekers, the disciples, and the devotees, or the masters in training, as they might be called. The super teachers, the super gurus. And so each level is less, we hope, less BS. So you have maybe 10% in the beginning, less BS than you brought in from the street. And the next year, maybe 10% more, less, yeah. And then every year, maybe at least 10% less BS for yourself once you recognize the levels of intelligence that are generally ignored in terms of worldly consciousness. They don't care about anything but consumer mind, which is good. It's great. You want experts in consumerism to guide you straight, right? So they have their place. But then you have experts in the transcending of all of that. So you might want to have the best of both worlds for yourself. And then no worlds. And that's going back to the superconscious in each of us, without denying its existence, simply because we don't have any resonance with its functioning, because we have heaped so much garbage on it. We have no way of estimating how many eons it's going to take, or epochs it's going to take, or ages it's going to take to free oneself of that darkness, that gravitational pull down into the casket of darkness, the great illusion, Maya. The only appearing is real. Only appearing is real. Universe. No Christians, no non-Christians. No Buddhists, no non-Buddhists. Who's counting? There is no external or internal divinity. Only awakeness. Transcending distinctions, duality and division.
Yeah, I mean, here we are at a level where distinctions not only don't matter, but don't exist. And are worth commenting on only to eliminate the illusion that there to be concerned with.
Says who? Exactly. No one. Begin at the end, from the inside out.
My initial impression was something like being thrown down a flight of stairs or being hit by a car or something. I had like no idea, which is great. Space created, exposed, revealed.
What's the difference between that and begin at the beginning?
This one seems to collapse. There's nothing to hold on to.
It's so funny. Just end. Begin at the end. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Every end is a beginning, obviously. So at that level, there is no such thing as a beginning, no such thing as an end. They just collapse, they disappear. So they cancel each other out. You just have now. So we see then what we create of time, which means it's created, it's self-created, as a convention, as a norm for everyone. It's just that. A way to act, a time to act. See? In order to be on time. Whose time? What time? World time. See? Business time. Money time. Karma time. See? Is asking believing? Is believing asking? Is inquiry knowing or seeking? Is seeking confusing or clarifying? Is thinking realizing? Is knowing cutting through? Do we know? We don't know. Can't know, but must know. That emptiness is form, and form is emptiness. No victory.
There's an interesting conversation going on between the mind and these mental processes and the seeking that you just mentioned, and this kind of unfolding realization that those pastimes, those needs, those goals are basically like self-dissolving. They end in a sort of incomplete way, because realization isn't that.
Isn't what?
It's not an answer to a question. It's not finding a lost object or the correct answer to anything.
Well, could be. Could be anything and everything, right? What we are looking at is spirituality as a creative process. And when it's in this mode of creating and recreating karma, It's a creative process of the highest order. You're recreating your life. Yeah. And it's not because of karma, it's not because of anything, but we have the potency of the creative intelligence. Yeah. That we would call spiritual intelligence. And on occasions we can rise or open to what that is and see that it's no big deal. See? That it is nature. Right? It is human nature at its best. When we let the body go, we let the mind go, so to speak. We let the earth go. And find our nature to be embracing the cosmos. As a part of what this is about. Maybe a particle of what it's about. See? And the great infiniteness of itself. We are free to create, but have to take what comes with that, just as the universe will take what comes with what it's created. It doesn't care about it. We have to care. And that's the difference when you have intelligence.
What do you mean by intelligence as it relates to caring?
What do you think? Or don't think? So,
When I think, I wonder, do you mean intelligence in the more karmic sense? Like 2 + 2 = 4? Or intelligence in the more cosmic sense, where...
what do you think? Again.
Unfortunately, I think at this moment. So,
It's more about what you think than anyone else thinks.
yeah.
So,
The
So do you then create a better, a peaceful situation, or do you allow yourself to create a worse situation? To use language, right? Human language. Yeah.
yeah.
Why would one want to create a better situation? Since you asked.
Yeah, more functional, more practice, more light.
Maybe more nothing. The idea is when you're at that level of reality, that's what it is. And it's the heart giving. It's not the lower body taking and destroying. The higher body, so-called higher body, the light body, having its way. That's intelligence, by the way, without question. It just is. And at that level, we won't say it's higher intelligence, it's clear intelligence. Then you can add, for the sake of those that are in the traditions, what do the masters say about it? What do the great spiritual masters say about these things? And then there are transcendent levels, not just levels that apply to the material planetary rule, but a higher level of functioning beyond the planetary, or the solar system, or the galaxial, or even the material, in this case, super subtle universes, light beings beyond description, beyond imagination, but yet appear. And so have a place in this dimension for the few.
I was just wondering whether at these higher levels you're talking about there is conscious participation.
There's only conscious participation. See, we say superconscious. That means it's not necessarily limited to our experience of consciousness in the material sense. Mm-hmm. And therefore, I used the word earlier, intelligence, and you were questioning what is meant. But here we are again, back to that point. Mm-hmm. No. What is superconscious intelligence? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And your comment is what? Yeah. Your question is what? Relative to it.
Well, my question relative to it was what is conscious participation at that level? How do we know it?
Mm-hmm. How do you know whatever level you know, except by experience? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's what's real to you. For others, this level is not real. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Obviously, look at the other kingdoms before us. Yeah. We don't even matter to certain kingdoms. Mm-hmm. We don't even matter to our own kingdom. Obviously. Let alone other kingdoms. So we would speak about at its own level. What does that mean? Per individual at its own level, right? Doesn't mean anything. See? If we're talking about super intelligence at its level, obviously it has to have its own level. That's what it is. Cosmic intelligence. So what we can say is, it knows itself at its own level. We can write it off. Has nothing to do with us. It knows itself.
So then what is the realization?
What isn't, Dennis, what isn't the realization? And how would you know or not know what that is?
At its own level.
At no level. Spiritual practice is an ongoing, ruthless process of continual burn, beyond all hope and fear, discovery and awakenment. For the ego, aggression is the only relief. Believe in and hope for nothing, and you will know exactly what you need to say and do. The spiritual path, for many, is the path of no promises, no goals, no holding, no clinging, no limitations, no freezing, no attachment, no rejecting. Every moment is the path of transcending fear and hope. All time and space. Energy, matter. Reality.